It was a secret Barry hadn't told his closest friends, not even Cisco, but because he was the Flash, he experienced things more intensely than non-speedsters. He could feel events happening in real time and flash time at the same time. That was something they wouldn't have felt even when he pulled them into flash time, because it wasn't their own speed that was keeping them there. Jay knew, but it was just one more thing he decided to let Barry learn on his own. Thawne knew too, and Barry could see and hear him laughing between the seconds. The time wraiths started swirling around Gypsy. Then they looked up at Barry and Thawne and began hissing. Barry knew he had nanoseconds to act, but somehow he found his yellow-booted feet frozen in place. No. Barry couldn't believe what he was seeing. 5 minutes ago, he was beginning to be convinced that he and Thawne were friends, good friends even. Now his wife Caitlin was laying on the ground with a hole in her heart. Eobard's hand was still vibrating after he stabbed her. He wanted the image to be seared into Barry's brain. Barry couldn't hold his tears any longer. He looked at Eobard's sneering face. Everything you are is a lie, but I'm going to fix that today. Barry pulled on his mask over his still wet face. His eyes radiated electricity. He felt that tingle begin in the soles of his feet and start to ignite his very bones. He lunged at Eobard with all he had. He punched him so hard he knocked out a tooth. Eobard crashed into the back wall, knocking over 2 beakers of formaldehyde. What the? How did you hit me? I was moving even as you lunged. You haven't faced me for real since I got back from the Speed Force, said a furious Barry. Maybe I know some things you don't. Eobard took off from the lab floor and bolted out of the front door. Barry boomed out like a thunderbolt after him. Eobard soon hit Mach 2 and Barry was right on his heels. Don't you love it when we talk at super speed, Mr. Allen? It shouldn't be possible, but the Speed Force is a beautiful thing. How about we... Barry reached for the back of Eobard's head and snatched his mask off. Then he hit him on the other side of his jaw and sent him reeling into oncoming traffic. Eobard shook himself right before a semi-trailer hit him and took off again. Barry followed, yellow lightning streaking behind him. But Mr. Allen, don't you want to hear what's going on? Don't you want to know how I've been planning this moment since we got back from the future? Barry narrowed his eyes and saw beads of sweat start to form on Eobard's forehead. Do you even remember what happened? And don't you want to know that I'm going to stick my hand in the hearts of all 3 of your kids next? 3 kids? Thought Barry. I only saw the 2. And then it hit him. Caitlin said they had twins. The children he brought were at least 3 years apart. That means there was yet another child that he hadn't seen yet that was a twin of one of the ones back at the lab. Why hadn't Caitlin said anything when he had just come back with the 2? Kapow! Eobard smacked him right in his gut. A little preoccupied, are we, Mr. Allen? Maybe you should be paying more attention to that. Eobard pointed behind their still speeding forms, and Barry could see all 3 time wraiths behind them. Whatever they wanted with Gypsy, they'd either done it or decided they wanted Barry and Eobard more. Barry smiled. Then he started laughing. He laughed as they raced around another city block with the time race game. Eobard looked puzzled. Why are you laughing? What could possibly be... And then Eobard felt it. He was slowing down. Wait, no! How could I be slower? It's called stealing speed, Thawne. It's something I learned in the Speed Force. I also learned that the wraiths are a lot like natural predators. They'll take the easier target. So I'm going to let them have you. C'est la vie. Barry turned left on a dime, leaving Thawne where they'd been running. As Barry had predicted, the wraiths zoomed right past him and attacked Eobard. They grabbed both of his legs and one arm, and Eobard found that he was no longer fast enough to vibrate or create a vortex. He started shrieking at the top of his lungs as the wraiths opened up a portal and began to drag him in it. The last thing Barry saw was Eobard's face begin to morph back to its original form, losing Wells's image. Then the wraiths pulled him in and the wormhole disappeared. I hope you meet whoever or whatever took Hunter's place as the Black Flash in there, thought Barry. Then he turned and sped at top speed back to Star Labs. He skidded to a halt back in Caitlin's lab, kicking up his customary wind force. He briefly saw that Gypsy was still intact, and then he knelt down over the dead body of his wife. He felt his tears well up again and realized he'd never stopped crying. He leaned close to her face until his tears started to fall on her. Caitlin? Oh, my sweet Caitlin. I realized that everything you said was true. You always made me be the best version of myself, and I sometimes didn't even notice. He grabbed her hand. I thought about these last 4 years, which I guess happened differently here. But the one thing that's forever true is that you were there for me. Oh, Katie, you're the love of my life, Caitlin, and I can't live without you. Barry started weeping even harder. Then he looked at her again. So I won't. Barry started vibrating his right hand faster than he ever had before. His hand turned almost completely invisible and started radiating temporal waves in every direction. Barry's lips thinned as he looked at Caitlin, and then he stuck that same hand into her chest. Barry reached through her blouse, her skin, and put his hand around her heart. He let the waves he was generating coalesce around it. He kept up the incredible precision speed he needed to keep going, even though he started sweating profusely. He kept his hand inside her chest for 30 seconds, which for a speedster felt like time had slowed to a crawl. And then Caitlin gasped and opened her eyes. She started spitting up blood and coughing. Barry burst into even more tears and grabbed her head and neck and brought her to his chest. He held her close. Finally, Caitlin had regained enough breath to speak. Barry? Yes, Katie, I'm here. What happened? Caitlin said as she tried to fully sit up and failed. No, don't move. You need to give yourself a few minutes. Just lie still in my arms. That's where you belong. Are the kids okay? Where's Eobard? He betrayed us again. He stabbed you through the heart. I brought you back. But how? Asked the stunned Caitlin. Something I've never tried before. I guess you could call it localized time displacement. What does that mean? It means instead of sending my whole body or yours back in time, I focused the chrono waves and sent your heart back in time. I sent it back to a few minutes before he stabbed you and made it whole again, then restarted it. How long? How long is my brain without oxygen? Sputtered Caitlin. The fact that you can ask me that means you're fine, smiled Barry. Seconds at best. We were running at top speed. I slowed him down and let the time race have him. Just breathe, Katie. Caitlin looked up at her husband and smiled. How did you know to do that? The most important thing to me on any earth was in front of me and needed saving. I thought fast. Caitlin smiled. Nobody warms my heart like you do, Barry Allen. I guess that's literal now. She grabbed the back of his neck. Mama needs a kiss. Their lips met and Caitlin almost lost her breath again. Their passion was warm and new, like they'd just begun. He was hungry for his wife and would not let her go. Come in. Is anyone there? Repeat. Star Labs, come in. Can you hear me? Barry and Caitlin pulled their lips apart and looked at the monitor all the way across the room. A face began to coalesce on it. Come in. Star Labs, can you read me? Please come in. Caitlin was again shocked. Marlies. Marlies, said Barry. There's a lot of static. You're breaking up. We can read you, but barely. What's happening? Barry and Caitlin, I can see you, but I can't hear you. I need you to nod if you can hear me. Do you copy? Barry and Caitlin nodded in unison. We don't have a lot of time, but... Marlies, what did you say? Please say again, yelled Barry. Marlise's face began to break up on the screen. I repeat, Cisco is still alive. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to know when new videos drop.